Hello, my friends. I'm Rick, and this is your seat at the table. I got little gray and white mama sitting over there. It's a beautiful day out there today. Humidity's down. It's in the high 70s at the moment, or should be getting close to 80 by now. I guess it is afternoon. Anyway, I got the window open so she can enjoy some fresh air and stuff. Um, Universal Brotherhood. This was one of the creepiest damn things I got back in the day when it came out for Shadowrun. It really kind of threw me for a loop. I'm trying to remember exactly what year. 1990 was when this came out. So I would have, let's see, 23 or so. It is a two-part package. So this little cover here, right? And then you have the corporate packet, if you wish. Unleash your inner abilities. Join the Universal Brotherhood to build a better tomorrow. And then we have Missing Blood, which is an adventure. The thing with this particular setup is that it introduced these insect totems to the game, and in a very unique way. So the whole thing, it comes off as this kind of printed out PDF uh, copies of these emails that was going on between these two investigators, and at the end of the day, you basically have insects melding with human beings and orcs and elves and so on and so forth, and becoming hideously more powerful. And of course, the insects have a completely different intellectual, a mental view of themselves and existence, for the lack of a better word. And so, in and of itself, that makes it a challenge. And it gets into some quite detail in here. Go through the story part, and eventually, both of the investigators. One ends up trying to join the Brotherhood, ends up dying, and the other one gets the real scoop, manages to get it published, in the free world, and then it's mysteriously dies after that. So there's obviously some very powerful organizations here with that don't want this information out in general. And we go back into the back and get to it. All right. Yeah, see, the body of freelance reporter Frederick David was discovered late last night in a dumpster behind Washington, D.C. apartment building. Cause of death was listed as extreme trauma, possibly result of an armed assault. He was bludgeoned to death, concurred Lieutenant Carl Boomeister, the Lone Star subsidiary Capitol Security Services. The ferocity of the attack is well startling. We've been predicting an increase in street use of energizer drugs, and I think that's what we might have here, an assault by a turbo junkie, right? No, he was just assaulted by an extremely powerful insect imbued human being, uh, right? So we get into the Universal Brotherhood, a web of deceit. Chapter 1 introduction talks about the history. Founding in the Universal Brotherhood began in the late 30s by Dr. Catalin O'Connell, right? So on and so forth. Talks about chapters worldwide, things like that. Then we get into you know, this real nitty gritty, the real stuff they uncovered. You know, how much the multi-international corporations are infected, governments are infected, service providers are infected, shallow runners potentially infected too. Then we get into the chapter 3 on the physical process, the totems of queens, insect spirits, the true forms, flesh form, human form, hives, universal brotherhood, you know, The Fly. Go see the movie The Fly, and you get a very good idea of just what's going on here. Pretty nasty stuff. And the adventure here is missing blood, right? Let's see. Yeah. So the year is 2050. Advances technology are astonishing, with humans able to blend in with computers and travel through the netherworld of data known as the Matrix. Even more astonishing is the return of magic. Elves, dragons, dwarves, orcs, trolls have assumed their true form. While the mega corporations, rather than superpowers, rule much of the world, moving through it all like whispers of the night are the Shadowrunners, etc., etc. Even the Shadowrunners are in the dark about some aspects of the world of 2050. Unknown to everyone on Earth but a select few, the world is slowly being infested by spirits of the shunned insect humans. These powerful and destructive spirits are hiding behind the facade of the Universal Brotherhood, a self-help cult that cloaks itself in pseudoscience and promises eventual world peace through its practices. In truth, the cult's purpose is to gain influence on human society and to use its human and metahuman members as hosts for its evil spirits. Missing Blood is a story about a group of Shadowrunners having a run-in with forces of Universal Brotherhood. Adventure takes place in the city of Seattle. The characters move through an ever-tightening web of intrigue involving the masters and pawns of the Brotherhood. Through the Shadowrunners begin with very little knowledge of the Brotherhood. They will become deeply aware of the cult's danger by the time the game is over. It just gives you a really juicy thing about how these suckers work. I mean, just bugs in general creep me out, but human-sized bugs, human bug, uh, metaf hybrids. Yeah, even worse. Yeah, so here's some creepy shit for you. Excuse me, creepy stuff. You got a fly spirit, a fly queen, termite spirits, true form worker termite, termite queen, true form soldier termite, wasp spirits, wasp queen, etc., etc. I mean, this one really creeped me out when it came out, and of course, like I said, I always had trouble getting anybody interested in playing Shadowrun back in the day, and nobody I know ever played this. But it's still really explains a lot about how these insect spirits, when they first show up, uh, changed some of the vibe of the game back in the '90s. That was just my opinion, of course. Till next time, I'm Rick. You guys have